Hello, my beautiful human. Welcome back to your shakeup. I am so excited to talk to you today. And I really hope that you have been loving these shakeups and they're just the extra oomph that you need to kick off the week. So, for this shakeup, we're going to talk about the pressures that people put on us and how important it is to just ignore it and focus on what we love and focus on loving ourselves. I will be honest with you. I don't think I realized all of the pressures that society and people put on us until I got married, and which is like crazy to say. So, rewind. Yes, I felt pressured to like get married and start dating even after I had Sebastian, and like it was like always to the next thing, but I just kind of ignored it. It wasn't until Matt and I got married that I really started to reflect on, okay, I started dating Matt and people were like, oh my God, when are you going to get engaged? And then we got engaged and they're like, oh my God, when's the wedding? We got married and then people are like, oh my God, when are you going to have a baby? Another baby? When are you going to buy a house? And it's like, what is happening right now? It's like people are so focused on the next thing for other people than they are for their own life. Like, quite frankly, most of the time, I just want to tell people mind your own business. Like, you get married, you buy a house, you have kids. I always tell my parents that every time my parents are like, go have kids, I'm like, you go have kids. Like, leave me alone. I'm living the life that I want to live, which is really the inspiration behind this episode because I am usually so triggered by people just trying to rush me through life, rush me through the next thing, the next quote unquote tasks just to check the list, like check it off the list. What if I don't want that? What if Matt and I were like, hey, we don't actually want to buy a house. We want to rent for our whole entire life. Why is that a negative thing? Why has society like trained us to feel like we need all of these things to be happy, to like have all the things? And then, okay, so we have the kids, we have the house, we have the job. Like, what else are they going to start talking about in terms of like rushing me to do? It drives me insane. And I say it used to trigger me. Obviously, it still triggers me, but it really only does because I get so mad when I see or hear people like complain or like talk about other people and be like, oh, like so sad they don't have kids. Oh, so sad they don't have a house, or so sad they're not married. It's like, why is it so sad? You are labeling it sad. They're fine. They're okay. Like, let's not acknowledge or ignore all of the accomplishments and happiness that this person has, right? Just because they don't have what you think or what society thinks they should have. And I feel like that in my life too. It's like we are doing so great and we have this beautiful family and this beautiful child and we're so happy and so successful. It's like, why are you rushing me to have more kids and a house and figure out where we're going to live forever? Like, why? We're just like living life. I do understand when it is like family or friends that just like they just want the best for you. I just hate that people and society have like identified the best as a family and kids and a house, and like that it like what if that's not someone's dream life? And so in my notes, I was saying, I wrote, single or not, married or not, you still have to learn to love yourself, survive by yourself, heal by yourself, and protect yourself. Why I think this is so important is we might want all of those things. Like Matt and I might eventually want more kids. We do want more kids. Like that's not a might. We do want eventually more kids. We do want a house, but we are so happy and content in our space right now with the things that we have and the life that we have that we don't need to feel this pressure from others. And we're very comfortable now telling others like, hey, like pipe down. We don't need that right now. We're not doing that right now. We're waiting and being okay. And so I think it's really important to just find that happiness within yourself and feel so, so good with the life that you have. And in return, being open to more opportunities, to being open to more, being open to this like abundant life of kids if you want it, a house if you want it, marriage if you want it. Like the one thing that I hope you get out of this episode is it is not what other people want. It is not what society labels as good or bad. It is what you want. It's defining your dream life. And, I can make a whole other episode about what if you do want kids and you can't have any right now, or you do want a marriage and you're not married, or you do want a house and you don't have a house. Like, that's a whole other conversation. But before we even get there, I think it's just so important to acknowledge that there is so much pressure that's put on us, be able to ignore those pressures that are put on us by just simply loving ourselves, loving who we are, loving how we're living now, and really being content and grateful for that. My cousin tells me all the time, like, it's so important to be so grateful and not feel like you're constantly wanting more and more and more. And as an entrepreneur, I will tell you, like, more and more and more is something that I'm always striving for, and it burns me out at times. But I realize that, like, it's just so important to feel so grateful for what you want now. On the flip side, I think it is important to define your dream life, not someone else's dream life, not what society puts on you, not what your friends and family puts on you, like what you want. That might be so different than what other people want. It probably will be. But really defining what exactly it is that you want out of life and being open to that, it will be huge. But it drives me insane when I hear people just constantly adding these timelines and pressures on other people for no reason, like literally no reason. It does not affect that other person's life whatsoever. And I want to let you know that you are not alone. Like, if you are listening to this and you're like, I get this all the time from my friends and family. My mom is telling me this. My aunt is telling me this. My, uncle, my neighbor, the convenience store owner, like all of the things. If people are constantly adding these, like, oh, when are you going to do this? When are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? When are you going to move? When are you going to buy a house? When are you going to get a job? It's like, shut up. Literally shut up. Live your life and allow me to live mine. And for the people that are doing that, like, yes, I do believe that some of it is coming from a good place where they just want you to be happy, but that means that they are identifying or defining what your happiness is. Like, that's not up to them to define that. And so, although I do believe, like, our parents come from such a beautiful place when it says, like, when are you going to have kids? It's just, you're adding pressure on people. So don't do that. Like, literally just don't do that. If you find yourself doing that with your friends, like, don't do that, because you are adding these pressures on them that they don't need to have. If someone wants to have kids and they haven't had kids, guess what? They don't need you to tell them that they should have kids. If someone is actively looking for a job and you're telling them, and you're asking them, when are you going to find the job? They don't need you asking them when they're going to find the job when they're actively looking for a job. Do you know what I'm saying here? Like, are we seeing eye to eye? I think it's really, really important to just identify, like, what is important to us, define our dream life, not put our pressures and our dreams and our aspirations on anybody else, and also, like, find that love and peace within how our life is right now, and be open to this, like, abundant lifestyle in the future. And that can look so different for each and every single person. And I just don't ever want you to feel like shameful for not having things that society and people are telling you to have. Like, I am so sorry for you having to just receive that over and over and over again, because I know how annoying it is and so aggravating. And it is like, you're constantly fighting between, like, I know these people mean well, but also, like, please leave me alone. Like, let us just be, like, happy and content in the space that we're in. And so ignore the timelines, ignore the pressures. You decide what your dream life is. You decide what you want out of it, and you'll get it. Like, I truly believe that. Like, I believe deep down to my core that everything ends up being okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. I love you. I hope the shakeup has served you in a way that you feel that you need right now. I would be so, so appreciative if you shared this, if you recommended this episode to a friend or a family member. And if you took 2 seconds to just leave a review on Apple Podcast, it would mean so, 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 so much. I love you. I'm grateful for you. And I will talk to you on Wednesday. Bye. And don't forget, no matter what, she did it anyway.
You did it, Mom.